Day.
Somebody external coming to tie that up for us. We're having that conversation this morning on resetting these ties with Professor Macharia Munene, who is a political historian, and he joins us this morning. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, Judy.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Good to have you in the room today.
Atamina shukuru.
Shukuru sana. It's interesting because we're talking to a political historian, and at the same time, we're looking at a present-day situation playing out that has a lot of roots in history in terms of what happened on this African continent. Many may see it as forward-thinking geopolitical business, but others may see it as extending the hand of colonialism. We're going to talk about all of those things today, and of course, we're feeding into the Africa Forward Summit hosted by the French. And if we're just going to look into some pictures that we see then coming from the middle of the city this morning, 30 plus African heads of state were invited to this, and we'll see some of them, not all of them. Some of them had arrived by Sunday, Monday, and that there's going to be this meeting at the KICC today, and we can see that some of those folks are coming, arriving at the KICC. The president of France, Emmanuel Macron, of course, hosted by His Excellency President William Ruto, basically essentially selling France again to the African continent and bringing the leaders today, whereby there were meetings yesterday with youth leaders, with cultural participants and practitioners, whether it was around cuisine, culture, food, whatever the case may be. So those meetings were had yesterday. Today is probably when we look a little bit more about policy, because now the nations of the continent will be there. So those are pictures, live pictures coming in from the KICC, where those meetings are bound to start today, and those deliberations are going to take place today. And then that brings us to the end of this summit by the end of today. And in terms of what's going to happen there, even as that is going on, and we continue to look at those pictures, Professor Munene, our proverbs this morning are from Eswatini and the Kingdom of Eswatini. And I'd love to get your interpretation of that, even as we go along and continue to look into those pictures of those arrivals here. And so the Eswatini say that if you... Oh, sorry, I'm just going to find that in a minute. If a man, or rather a person who says it cannot be done should not interrupt the man doing it. A person who says a thing cannot be done should not interrupt a man doing it.
There's no room for pessimism. If something has to be done, step out of the way.
Yes.
So that whoever can do it can do it. Essentially, people who discourage action should not be entertained.
Yes.
Because they're just useless people.
People who discourage action. Right. Okay. Well, so let's get into this conversation today. Of course, we can see the red carpet being rolled out for quite a number of leaders who are coming into Kenya from across the continent. We know, for example, that presidents Côte d'Ivoire, Nigeria, from the west and coming in from the south, South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, some of those countries who've been invited. It's interesting that some of the countries in the Sahel and West, Francophone West Africa, may not be attending this Africa Forward Summit. And it's no surprise that this is a French a pivot. What are your thoughts, first of all, when it comes to this particular summit and what it has in store for the continent?
One, it's good that there is such a meeting taking place in Nairobi. Gives some publicity to Nairobi, if nothing else, and gives a chance to some presidents in Africa to meet outside Addis Ababa. And have time
it's been their meeting point.
Yes, it's a meeting point. And it's interesting that many of them were invited, at least 30 might have indicated willingness.
Yeah.
But it appears that from a list I saw, there may be coming about 10 or 12.
Yeah. Not yet 15, yes.
Not 15. And in one of the countries that's come, if what I read is correct, two people are representing the same country. And that's Morocco. You have the King of Morocco and the Prime Minister.
And the Prime Minister. Indeed.
There's something odd about it. But it also says something, because Morocco and the French are very close in many ways. And,
even geographically.
Geographically. And even trying to sabotage some of the AU positions. They are very close in that regard. Among the countries not showing up, of course, South Africa.
Yes.
Algeria. That's interesting. Of course, where there is Morocco, Algeria has a problem.
Will not be.
At least Egypt is supposed to come. And but then our neighbors don't seem to be very enthusiastic, which is something in itself.
They're having some ceremony.
Yeah,
they're a bit busy.
They're busy swearing.
They are swearing.
Which is a bigger thing.
Yeah, it's a bigger thing.
So
40th year.
Yeah, there was some challenge in terms of coordination in that regard. But in general, it's a good thing for Nairobi in terms of publicity. It's also a good thing for Macron as a person. This is something that's giving him mileage that he may not get some other place. He's a man who is struggling to be accepted as a leader in Europe and in the world. So what better way to show that he's accepted outside Europe than to have a meeting in Nairobi, which is not was not part of the French colonial system.
True.
Which is, that's the plus in itself. It's also a good thing for Ruto, William Ruto. William Ruto is an interesting man. He craves for validation and acceptance as the leader of the Africans. Now, this meeting gives him a chance to look as the leader of the Africans, because others are supposed to be listening to him and what he does. So it's something that is supposed to benefit both Macron and Ruto.
Yeah.
And for Kenya, it's good publicity, if nothing else.
It's interesting because you speak about the benefit to these two gentlemen. And so then what that would do is that it speaks highly to the political positions that they both take. Of course, we look at the wave of nationalism that hit many parts of Western Europe, France not being left behind, Germany experienced the same thing, Spain, Portugal, across board said, okay, it's time that we were inward looking. Even though we've come from the 2000s when we were, pockets of countries whereby we had to work together for certain things, then now making yourself a place, a state whereby your national outlook then had to reflect on the global stage. Now, taking all of that into consideration, the position that France held in West Africa in terms of popularity has waned significantly. Maybe that's a very diplomatic way of putting it, but essentially, 8 West African countries kicked France out of their existence. Emmanuel Macron insinuated or gave rise to that in his speech yesterday, where he acknowledged that they've lost popularity on the African continent and said, you know what, here's an opportunity basically for us to get it back. So, is this summit about France or is it about Africa?
Well, it's mainly about France.
Okay.
In Africa. But it's a French thing, and it's a Macron thing. But then Macron and Ruto appear to synchronize very well. Remember the time that Ruto was in France some times ago, and they seem to get along with Macron as if they are buddies.
Yes.
And even there was that episode where, for some peculiar reason, Ruto was able to address a rally in Paris. How do you organize a rally in Paris if you don't, unless it is government? It was Macron's way of winning Ruto over. As somebody I think he identified very early. Yes. As somebody he can work with. Yes. To promote French interest, the way he sees it. So there is convergence of interest between the two men. And since they control their particular countries, at this time, they can harmonize. Right. And for mutual benefit. Whether the countries gain or not is another matter. But from what we are reading, somehow Nairobi rail system is supposed to improve And if it happens, fair enough. But people are used to hearing so many promises, which some have a problem becoming true, becoming realized. But Macron is on a mission, and he's not the first Frenchman to do that.
No.
To try and make the French look as if they are a big power. Right now in Europe, the Europeans are confused, mainly because they used to depend on the United States, and the US is no longer dependable. So who then can come out and look as if he can lead the French? And the Europeans is Macron. And then outside Europe, how do you prove that you are acceptable? Well, go to Africa and have a meeting. And then the whole publicity about it. So as you alluded to the New Right movement, which has been sweeping the West.
Yes.
Donald Trump is an example of that. And then you had this fellow who lost in Hungary, Victor somebody, who lost. But then if you saw the elections in England within the last week, the New Right is on the rise.
Yes, it is.
And that in itself says something. And in France itself, Marine Le Pen might join the wave. Actually, she came very close. So there is that fear. And what you have with the New Right is rethinking of going back to the days before World War II, when perceptions of nationalism and anti-foreign racism was normal. And if you see some of these New Right people, they are outright racists. And they are gaining momentum. The reason they are gaining momentum is because of fear in Western world that they have been losing.
Yes.
And whether they like it or not, they have been losing. So the question is, why have they been losing? And they say, oh, we've been losing because there are too many foreigners who come to our country and become citizens. But apply what might be called the Peter principle. You penetrate, integrate, and take over. So, and you can see, in England, so there was an Indian who became prime minister.
Yes. For a while, but okay.
Yes.
There's a mayor in Washington.
And an Ugandan is mayor of New York.
New York.
Yes. New York. I'm done.
And London has an Indian as well.
Yes.
So Donald Trump is the one who comes out very well, showing that there's something wrong with this. So how do you stop this? You stop migration. And you Donald Trump's main beef, and the reason he became president, is to campaign against Obama, and saying that this Kenyan came from nowhere and became president. So stop migration, And if they can, they would like to change the constitution, remove the 14th Amendment, that if you are born in the U.S., you are U.S. citizen. Say, no, that should not be the case.
Right.
Your parents should also be citizens. So as to stop an Obama phenomenon in future. If you look at Canada, they've got in cabinet people who are maybe Indian, some other. And the foreign minister for Britain today is from the Caribbean, ideally, initially. He looks like a Kenyan from somewhere. But that in itself is creating a lot of fear. And so we have this reaction. How do you stop this onslaught? Yes.
Prof, you're talking about Macron and the French by extension, having their footprint in Kenya and East Africa by extension, of course, the Anglophone conglomeration. Remember that in 2020, Macron was president and Uhuru Kenyatta was president here. They signed a deal and they signed some deals. One of the deals was to the construction of the Rironi-Mau Summit.
Yes.
233-kilometer stretch at a cost of between 150 to 200 billion. It was cancelled by President Ruto when he took over. What does it speak? What do you make of it? Because eventually we were to pay 6.2 billion shillings to avoid some litigation at the London International Court of Arbitration. Because, of course, when you cancel, these are lawful contract. You have to pay. You have to incur some cost.
Yeah. What
do you make of it? Is it that maybe the president wants to be in control, that I have to craft this thing from zero, not maybe in the mantra of governments existing for posterity and in perpetuity?
You're right, that's true. President Ruto has a problem. He has said that he is the best in everything. The best among all the presidents that Kenya has ever had. So he's number one in everything. So how does he become number one if he continues the policies for somebody else? And it doesn't matter what the cost to the country is. It was not his thing. So he cancelled it. And I don't know who advises him, but he's made a lot of blunders along the way. And so this was such a blunder. But that does not affect the personal interaction between Macron and Ruto.
Personal?
Yeah, it's personal. And then they said, now, what can we do? So let's sign something about the railroad. A few things here. Then the French will also look good if they can do it and it works. Now, the unfortunate thing, I hope it doesn't happen that way, if Ruto loses the election next year.
And also Macron is leaving office next year.
Yeah, he's also having some
He has
problems.
to.
Yeah, he's
and then Marine Le Pen or whoever comes in, doesn't like this was done wrong.
He's going to undo all of it.
And so these are temporary things. And it was very unfortunate that it happened, and it's likely to happen again. The attempt to look as if you are number one in everything and everybody else is useless is very dangerous for the country, because a good leader should be able to build on what others have done, improve on it, and do it much better, not to destroy. So the impression that President Ruto has been destroying whatever is associated with Uhuru Kenyatta or Mwai Kibaki or Moi or the original Kenyatta is unfortunate in itself.
Yeah.
Because some of the problems people are seeing are real self-inflicted wounds on the part of the president. If he had built on these things, it would be a different story. But the Rironi Road is a good example of trying to get rid of what is associated with somebody else, as opposed to continuing. Just like Trump tried to get rid of anything associated with Obama, Biden,
Obamacare,
and you can see the consequences can be felt even here. You said it's collapsed.
USA,
and why? Not because it was not doing a good job. You said it was doing a very good job. We might question one or two things, but all over the world they were doing a very good job. But since they were associated with the wrong people, cancel the whole thing.
Yeah, throw it out.
Throw it out.
Whereby it was making some good gains.
Oh, yeah, they were making very good gains, but associated with the wrong people.
I want to look at some of the nation, and very rarely are things just by coincidence when we look at especially meetings like this. Of course, the long hand of colonialism, which has now been given the name neo-colonialism, playing out in the minds of a lot of people when we see something like this going on. But it comes to you in a more friendly manner, where it says Africa is the gateway, Africa is the future. Macron said something like this yesterday and said, if anybody's not looking at Africa, then they're not looking at the world. Okay, that's great. But look at the people who've come so far. He himself, Bola Tinubu from Nigeria is here. Bassirou Faye from Senegal is here. From Gabon, Guema is here. Bayo from Sierra Leone is here. Boakai from Liberia is here. Ouattara from Cote d'Ivoire. Fattah el-Sisi from Egypt. Mahama from Ghana. Antonio Guterres, Secretary of the United Nations, is here. Like he says, Aziz Akunosh from Morocco is here. Ragulam from Mauritius is here. We've seen just now the leaders from Ethiopia and Rwanda, Paul Kagame, here as well. Are these strategic meetings? We know, for example, that the relationship between Rwanda and France has been under tension for the longest time, especially after 1994. Paul Kagame himself opened his mouth and said, how can we depend on you to then be able to help us grow when the time when we needed intervention the most, it never happened? Does this speak to that the presence is here? But many would argue that in the last 2 years, the most Africa-forward nation has been uninvited to this summit in the name of Burkina Faso, for example, or if not uninvited, is not here to maybe talk about what really Africa-forwardness really does mean. Is it just perception, or is it just coincidence, happenstance, or does it have a greater meaning from what we see?
Well, great perception to it. Whether or not Burkina Faso was invited, it was not likely to come because of its beef
with France.
As to Rwanda, Paul Kagame is in a tight corner. Yes, the French were involved in the genocide because they were said to have been training the Interahamwe.
Yes.
So they were involved in that. And so there is very big bad blood between that. And some French people have accused Kagame of actually shooting down the aeroplane and therefore starting the argument.
Yes.
But Kagame is now in the East African community. And he is part of this system. I don't know, is he now the current chairman of the community?
Of the community?
Yeah, I think if he is, then he has an obligation to support the community, if nothing else. But also the Rwandese interest can be touched on. They can discuss a few things.
It's Museveni, actually.
Museveni is the one who is getting sworn in.
Legitimacy is today.
At the wrong time.
Maybe he'll come in the evening.
Maybe after he's sworn in, but it will be over. The countries you mentioned, apart from Ghana, Mahama, and one or two others, they really are projections of French and European interest. You mentioned Nigeria, a big country, confused.
Completely.
They import their own oil, which is a ridiculous thing. And it's interesting that Tinubu comes after Ruto said that he speaks better English than the Nigerians. And they were not amused.
They appear to have sorted out that particular tiff.
Yes. And so actually, Ruto is very good at sorting out these kind of things. So he's now in good books with Suluhu.
Suluhu,
Yes.
After saying he's going to build up
unbeknownst to her
in Tanga.
Yes.
But the countries that have come, many of them are usually beholden to France or to the big powers. Like Sierra Leone. It's a former British colony.
Yes, it is.
But very close to Morocco.
Yeah.
Because I remember attending a meeting somewhere, and when you discuss things, Morocco was not very happy about it. And then the other countries who agree with anything that Morocco does not like, and they end up by saying, we support Morocco's position. It was amusing to see that. Then Sierra Leone was one of those. So I think each country is here because of what it considers
its interest.
Its interest.
Okay. Well, let's take
how France can help.
How France can help them as individuals and not coming together as Africa, which is interesting because that seems to be the long rallying call. Come together as a continent and then see how you can grow. But that seems to be a little bit different. On a light note, perhaps we'll get Morocco and Senegal in a room and they can agree on this thing and who's going to give back the trophy. But okay, that could be a conversation that we could have later. We'll take a break. We're looking at the Africa Forward Summit. Professor Macharia Munene is here with us. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about what it actually does mean. Looking forward, are we talking about an Africa that actually come together and deal with its issues? It's 27 minutes to 10 o'clock. This conversation continues after this break. Don't go away.
The This is the Situation Room. The only way to This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
5 bob? These days it doesn't get you much. But now just 5 shillings unlocks any premium story on the Standard. These are stories that go beyond the ordinary, exclusive, high value, and only on the Standard Insider. Choose your story anytime, anywhere for just 5 bob. Bobeana 5 bob. Big stories, small price. Visit www.standardmedia.co.ke and subscribe today.
First of all, I started with Hot Kitchen. Hot Kitchen is where we make the normal foods, ugali, mchele, samaki, nyama. But then, on the way, I realized that hii ni ngumu kwangu. Hiyo joto imeanza kukua mingi kwangu. So I discovered another place. Nikaigia Cold Kitchen. So Cold Kitchen is where I started meeting with creams, cakes, desserts, and I found this is a comfortable place for me, and I can work here because we realize I can't work under pressure. We bake cakes, we bake pastries of all kinds, and we also focus on baking the mind. I believe the mind is a cake. So with effort and with patience, we will also achieve a great mind.
Kwa mara ya kwanza kutoka Afrika Mashariki na Kati, tunawaletea
ni kipindi ambacho kitakuwa kinaangazia tamaduni, mila na desturi upo.
This is more than weddings. It's love, tradition, culture and surprises, all in one unforgettable journey.
Kwa mfano katika jamii ya Bajuni kutoka eneo la Pwani ni kwamba bwana harusi siku ya harusi anachapwa ama kutandikwa viboko na familia ya kina bibi kuashiria uvumilivu katika ndoa.
But what you don't know, ndo upate bibi Mkamba lazima upeleke mbuzi 3.
Inakisiwa kuwa rangi ama gauni la rangi hii ya kijani kibichi huvaliwa na mwanamke ambaye ni bikra.
Yote 9, 10 ni.
Niite Fiona Kenga, nitaitika.
Na wanaonipenda wananiita Riley Mwaniko.
To make him stop.
I would want people to remember me for creating spaces where they feel seen, heard, and understood.
I love what I do because I think I'm passionate about it.
Mshanza secret sanga. Kuna exam ya kusomea na tu nilikwambia usiniingize kwa mambo yako.
Do what you want to do as long as you enjoy it.
In high school, I never thought I'd be a model.
A violinist is, to me, what I understand is someone who makes someone else happy.
Let your promise have God's presence in it. That is one of my favorite things. That is what I go with.
So one of the biggest things that I've learned is being confident.
My name is Miriam Kaburaga Kumu. I am a high fashion, commercial and editorial model.
Everyone thinks that when you become a lawyer, you become like Harvey Specter. It is completely different.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
Raila was rejected. And it was recently, about a month or so ago.
Yep.
He made a statement to that effect and said, wait a minute, what is this talking about? And that's when they were planning this particular conference. So was it part of the takeover from the AU as an indirect way of taking over the AU and offering an alternative to the existing AU? It's kind of awkward. But the fact that the AU is not represented is itself telling that something is wrong. Guterres is here, yes, the UN, that's good. And he said something nice about
they opened the facility.
Reform of the financial institutions, said that, and that's all. And I'm sure he had a hand in Monica Juma getting a good job.
The irony is not lost on us that she, presented herself in Vienna to office just, yesterday, Monday. Yeah, that happened yesterday.
She should have been part of this opening and then go to Vienna. But maybe something happened because it would have been a good image. But somebody goofed somewhere. But if the idea in this is for the Forward Africa to replace AU as the vehicle for African interest, then we have a problem.
I don't even understand how that would work, Prof. Because if, on that point, I think I would agree with President William Ruto about the AU. For the longest time, I've said that this organization, if what it is meant to do is what we see here, then shut the thing down. Let's do something else with the premises in Addis. But it's not, is it possible to have an externally funded body then oversee the affairs, the internal affairs of Africa? Because that's what we're talking about. A lot of these countries, interestingly enough, if they are the ones to take this mantle and push it forward, are part of the problem in not paying their dues. From this list that we've read today, not even paying their dues to the African Union, but somehow want some kind of camaraderie whereby you can now form this force that's going to be reckoned with. Don't have our backyard sorted out. How can we be Africa forward if the elements who are being brought have not sorted out things in the backyard?
It's a mental issue.
Okay.
Rather than mechanical. It's a thinking. Yes, countries, either AU or even the East African community, many countries don't pay their dues. I understand that in East Africa, only Rwanda and Kenya
are up to date,
pay regularly.
To an extent.
The others find excuses. And so the entire community is funded by the EU and some other foreigners. The same thing with the African Union. Now, if there is thinking of replacing the AU because it is incompetent, because that would be a good reason, now finding a consensus for that becomes a problem. Because if only 10 countries came to this meeting, and there are 54, what happened to the other 44? Yeah. So there is a problem. So the first thing is to raise the issue that something is wrong with the AU and its ability to project itself. And this Mahama is here, and Mahama has been doing very well in